is John Landers. My company is Creative Group LLC. We're based in Danbury, Connecticut. And the purpose of this video really is to try to educate you on the various types of networking events that one can attend, the pros and cons of each type, because there are a lot of them out there. And I've been doing a lot of research on this, as in the last 3 years I've been members of as many as 34 meetup groups. I am a member of the New York City Chamber of Commerce, the Danbury Chamber of Commerce. I have been in the past, the Stanford Chamber of Commerce presently, and a number of other Chamber of Commerces throughout the tri-state area. So this is actually, you know what, there's actually 6 kinds of networking events. So let's start with the first one. First one is actually like the BNI type. You're usually at maybe a church or a conference room at an office where you're sitting around in a circle, 20 to maybe 40 people, all members, and you're there to give your 30 to 60 second elevator pitch, and maybe listen to one particular speaker about an aspect about what he does and his specialty area. And those are good. I mean, you do have a membership fee. They can range anywhere from, I'm guessing, $300 to $400 or $500. Sometimes I've seen it up to $600. But you know, you have that group of people that you network with on a regular basis. They meet every single week. Usually, it's at a 7 a.m. breakfast meeting. You are expected to refer people to each other, and this is where I find, for me, a little bit of discomfort. I mean, it's good for a lot of people, and they're happy with it. But for me, I want to have the freedom to be able to refer people to anyone I meet anywhere outside the group. Particularly if you're in the group and you don't have a synergy with some of the members, and that can happen. Maybe you change, groups. That's possible. Yeah, that's one option you can do as well. But that's the pros and cons in that type. The second kind of event is where you go to a conference center and they have a speaker that's going to talk about different aspects to educate you, maybe in marketing, social media, sales, in some ways, ways to help you build your business in that respect. Those are really good for the educational side of things, and I recommend that for anyone who needs that help. You won't. The other side of the coin, though, is you don't expect to get too much networking done, because most of the time is spent with the actual presentation. So before and after is not as much time on that, but it's great for people who want to educate themselves. Third type is really where you go into, they get these groups going. It's at a bar, restaurant, or nightclub, and it's usually in the evenings. These are good if you can get yourself there about a half an hour before they actually start. And the reason being is that as the night progresses, you'll notice that most of them will have music in the background. And as the night progresses, the later it gets, the music seems to get louder and louder and louder, and you're competing with the sound levels of the music to talk to people. That's one of the things I totally dislike, and I find it very non-productive to really build business relationships. If you're out there to have a good time, that's great, but it's not great for really building those business relationships that you want, that you're looking for. So my suggestion, again, get there early, and it's not the quantity of people, it's really the quality that you're going to meet. The next area I would say are actually Chamber of Commerce events. Now, there are good ones and there are bad ones even within the chambers, because some of the chamber events are actually in the restaurants and bars and and clubs. Sometimes they have it at a hotel conference area, which is a little bit better. Those I would highly recommend, because the noise levels are not as bad to compete with. But again, I go back to the ones with the restaurants and nightclubs. They have the DJs and all that loud music. It doesn't work. One of the ones I really recommend are trade shows, conventions, that type of thing. Where you're in a convention center, the space is very big. It absorbs all that noise level from people talking, so you can actually talk one-on-one. You get to meet people and learn about new products and services, and those are places where you can really talk and get those relationships going. Those are I recommend those. The final one is actually something I'm starting up. It's a little bit new and outside the box. And it's a combination of three aspects of what we're doing here. Number one, it'll be well, it's going 6, 7, 8, 9. It's a 4-hour event. Runs from 6 to 10 p.m. at night. It's at a controlled environment. In this case, it's going to be my first one. Group of ones will be at the Gibson Guitar Studios, which is in west side of Midtown Manhattan. We provide the address to that upon registration because they don't like to advertise their location for obvious reasons, which I can tell you about if you have an interest. But what this will be, the first and last hour will be completely quiet time to be able to talk with each other at a normal noise level. We won't be screaming at each other. In the middle of it, we'll be having normally 2 different independent music artists performing live in original music each month, different genres, and it's my way of giving back as a songwriter myself, a place where they can expose their music and get some feedback, and also have a meet and greet in the last hour to sell their CDs and really promote their music. So it's a combination of that. And the third aspect of it is also I want to help educate you in baby steps on how to properly and more effectively network with people. I find that a majority of people out there that network do not know really how to network right. And I'm guilty of that too. I was like that when 2-3 years ago. I was just as bad as any of these other people. So I've done some of my research, I've done study on it, and in fact one book I would highly recommend to read, it's a great read, is Endless Referrals by Bob Burg. Burg is B-U-R-G. Get the book, it's a good read, you'll become an expert. So, when we go to my events, there'll be ballot boxes set up in the venue. I think we'll have just 2 because it's a good sized venue for that. And that's not to put a card in for a raffle or anything like that, a business card. But what that is going to have is that when you register for my events each month, when we confirm that registration back to you, once you register, you'll be told, okay, here's the rule we're going to try to teach you at this event this time around. And we'll add them one each time each month and try to maintain the ones in the past as well. So, for example, on my first event in January on the 17th, hopefully you can make it, we're going to say that, okay, do not offer a business card to someone unless that person asks you for it. And there's a good reason for it. You can ask me about that when you see me. But so if you're at the event and you're going to get a card, what we'll have little stickers next to the ballot boxes. The purpose of those is that you put the sticker on the back of the card you just received from that person that just threw the card in your face. And by the way, I have a term for them. These are spam networkers, but we'll get there later. And so you'll take the sticker, put it on the back of the business card, put your contact information on it, and then drop it in the ballot box. Without a sticker on the back of the business card, if it goes in the ballot box, we'll ignore it because to us that's not a legit issue there. So that when at the end of the event, a few days after, we'll go take these cards out. We'll go back to those people that got their cards in there with the sticker and say, okay, here's what you did wrong this time, and here's how to improve your networking the next time you come to our events. And this will be ongoing each month, so we don't bombard you with so much information at one time because we are bombarded constantly with too much information out there. And I want to teach you in simple, small steps to really become an effective networker. You'll enjoy it. You'll have a good time there. Music's an international language people can relate to, and that will draw people together and also create the conversations that you need to do to build those relationships. So I look forward to seeing you there. I'm sure we're going to have a good time, and tell your friends about it because it will be a good event. And eventually we'll be expanding this across North America. So be part of my startup and join me, and let's have fun. Thanks, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.